Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, welcome to the channel. It's myself and one of our best friends to the show, to the channel, Lailah Lynn TV.
What's up, you guys?
I love when Lailah does her "What's up, you guys?"
Let's get into it.
Now, if you've been watching us recap the Real Housewives of Potomac all season, then you notice one of our three musketeers is unfortunately missing. That is Kempire Daly. He's just leaving the Netherlands on his way back to the United States right now. So he wasn't able to join us today, but he will be back next week.
Yes. So, we'll see you next time, Kempire.
Yes, we're so excited to have you back, Kempire. So you guys, as always, thank you so much for being here, being in the chat, and thank you to Shan, my amazing moderator. Let's jump into this episode. So you know how we like to rate it. So on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm asking you, Lailah, and everybody watching in the chat as well, what would you rate this episode, keeping in mind that it is like the semi-final. The finale is next week. This is the semi-final. So what would you rate it on a scale of 1 to 10?
Okay. I was going to say 8 because I knew you were going to ask me. And in my mind, I was like 8. But now that you say it's the episode before the season finale, I'm like, do I need to bring it down a notch? But I'm going to stick with my 8 because I did really enjoy the episode.
You know what? I'm going to have to give it the exact same rating that you gave it because I felt like it brought it. We got the drama, but then we also got the little fun part. Like, I'm getting ahead of myself, but like Karen in that cake, that was like a little bit of that lightheartedness that we needed in that moment.
Yeah, it was really cute.
And you know what? Let me just start from the very beginning here. Like, speaking of lightheartedness that I really loved, how about this? Ray Huger curling his hair to get ready for the crab boil. How funny was that?
I loved it.
He really is coming through with his sense of humor, and I absolutely adore it. So one thing I wanted to ask you and everybody watching as well is, what was that about when Candace asked Mia if she could sit next to her at the crab boil? Was that supposed to be a moment? Like, did something happen between them that did not make it into the show? Like, did you guys get a little bit curious about what they spoke about?
I felt like it was a little bit of peace. Like, okay, we had our issues and we resolved our issues. So I'm going to sit next to you, girl, and we friends now. Like, I felt it was like a peace offering. That's what I thought.
Do you think it's a genuine peace offering? Because I asked because when Mia and Ashley were going at it a little bit later, what did Candy do? She went back to the body shaming. Mia's too big to just take it from whatever. So was it genuine?
So that was in the confessional. And sometimes I feel like things happen. Like, we don't know exactly when the confessional was filmed. They might have filmed that confessional during the issue or after the issue, or maybe something else happened. So I don't say that it wasn't genuine because of the confessional, because I don't know when the confessional was filmed.
Okay, I think that's fair.
Yeah, so I'm giving her the benefit of the doubt.
You know what? It's fair. I agree. Like, we still have a whole other episode to go, so we don't know what could have transpired between the dinner and then. By the way, I'm seeing a lot of you guys' ratings, a lot of 7s and 8s, and then Shannon Van, she said she gives it a 3.
Oh, Shannon.
Why a 3?
Yes, tell us in the comments. Tell us why a 3.
Please. So, okay, the drama that went down between Ashley and Mia. So it was mainly between Ashley and G. G made another joke about like sleep, and then Gizelle and Escala kind of escalated it. I think it could have slid by, but they escalated it. And then he and Ashley went head to head. What did you think about the Alzheimer's comment? Was it as bad as Mia made it out to be, or is it just like one of those things that you kind of just say, like, do you have amnesia? Do you have Alzheimer's? Sometimes people say, are you blind? Are you deaf? Like, people say
I think we have to be fair. And so if we get on other housewives, like if Candace says to Ashley, oh, you're wide body, and we call that body shaming, then if Ashley says to G, what do you have, Alzheimer's? Then we have to call it out as well. So yeah, I think it was an issue. I think she was age shaming him. And I know she has an older husband, but that doesn't make her exempt, from age shaming someone.
But even though she started with the amnesia thing, like, does that soften it a bit?
No. If on this show, if we're going to call people out, if somebody says, oh, you have a wide body, and we're going to, escalate it and say, oh, you're body shaming, and she just had a baby and you're shaming her for having a baby. If we're going to escalate that, then we have to escalate everything. We got to be fair, right?
It's true. That's why I'm asking myself. I'm like, Grace, why don't you see it as a bigger deal? Maybe it is this huge deal, but to me, it's kind of like just one of those things that, like, it's kind of like, people have always said, right? Like if you
Right.
keep asking the same question, someone's going to ask you, are you deaf? Is it rude? Sure. But is it the same as calling someone wide-bodied right after they give birth? Is it the same as calling someone's mom low budget? I
I think it's
don't
the
know.
same only because of G's age. Like, would you really ask someone who's in their 20s, do you have Alzheimer's? You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Probably
No,
not.
no.
But because G is probably like in his 60s, for her to say that, I do think it's something there. And I think his age influenced her saying that. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that she's an ageist, just like
Mhm.
Candace is a body shamer.
Okay. And I think that
They neck and neck.
you know what? Okay. I think that's fair. I think that's fair. But you know, at the same time, it definitely was escalated by Gizelle and Ascala. They were there like, okay, let's light the fire on this. By even like bringing up the whole like sleep thing, making G continue to go after Ashley.
Because I wasn't, when he said that, it didn't seem offensive. And I actually felt like he meant it. But I thought maybe he really did want a nap. It didn't seem offensive, but when Ascala and Gizelle kind of like harped on it, it did become an issue.
Well, to me too, because he had been napping so much himself.
Yeah.
And like I saw it as sarcasm, like whatever, it's fine, you know. And so there, after this comment that Ashley made, the ageist comment, Mia goes in on her husband. He goes, you know, by the way, where's your husband? It's a couple's trip. I still have yet to meet this man. So where is he? Ashley goes, he's at home. I'm like, there you go, sit.
Okay.
Are you sure? So was it fair of Mia to go there with her?
Well, I think Mia felt like Ashley was picking on her husband, which is kind of questionable because, like we said, it wasn't Ashley bringing it up. It was actually Gizelle and Scott. But I think I think Mia said that because she felt like she had to defend her husband. Yeah.
Okay. I saw it too. You know, listen, that's what the show is all about. It's all about the shade at the end of the day. So I have another question for you guys. So Lailah and everybody in the chat, how did you feel about this comment from Mia? I'm just going to put it up there because I'm a little bit horrified still by what it is that she said. She said that this is what Ashley needed. Oh,
I saw that. And I actually took notes on this episode, but I wrote that down, but I was like, I'm not going to bring it up because I don't want to, bring up issues. She might not want to talk about this, but I definitely heard, Mia said Ashley needs a big black blank in her life. Yeah, y'all see it on the screen. Y'all see it. And I said, oh my God.
I know. I was like, you know what? I'm kind of over the caricature of Black men in this way. You know what I mean? So for that reason, I was very much disappointed to see her kind of bring that up. I felt like it was very much dehumanizing, you know? Lailah's still speechless about it.
It's like I don't want to say too much, but I do feel like it could change your life. So it can change your life.
It can change your life. All right. I see a lot of people are agreeing with you in the comments. They're like, oh my God.
But I don't think it was appropriate for her to say that. I don't feel like it's necessary. Really, it's a majority Black cast, and I don't know if race is really an issue here for her to bring up specifically a Black man. I don't know I don't think it was appropriate, but I understood what she meant. I'll say it like that. I understood what she meant, but I don't think it was appropriate.
Yeah. Oh my God. They really were going at it this episode, but that's what makes it an 8. There was all of that. And then the lighthearted stuff, which I'm going to show you next, which is Karen, Wendy, and Eddie. Look at Karen's legs at the bottom of that cake, like being transported across the lawn as a surprise for Ray, who's in the far left over there as if he can't see it. Right. I really love that scene. Like, can't you just see why they're still together after all these decades? Like, you just see it.
Yes, it was so cute. It was so cute to me. Especially her little legs. And everybody, even on the after show, they was like, we all saw Karen's feet. Like, we all knew it was Karen. But it was cute. I liked it. For what it was, I liked it.
Me too.
And I appreciate like lighthearted moments like that kind of balance out the show. So it's not all dramatic and serious and talking about body shaming and, who said what to who. Like, I like that balance.
Same here. Like, I loved that moment. They did a little bit of a Soul Train line, like on their way down to the kitchen for breakfast too, or the crab boil. That was adorable. And then, of course, this image of Ray trying to curl his hair. We really had a lot of these adorable moments this episode that, I loved. It was
Yeah.
nice. Like we're really closing out on what I hope is a good note.
I think we are. I think we are for the most part. And
Uh-huh.
I don't want to get into the reunion, but a little bit of tea about the reunion is starting to spill out. But I think for now we are closing on a good note.
Yes. Okay, well, here's something on a little bit more of a negative note. Wendy, she rated herself as a 10 out of 10 hostess in every way, including rounding up 2 quote unquote children, in her words, Robin and Gizelle. But Robin said that Wendy was a terrible hostess. Lailah, everybody in the chat, what would you rate Wendy's hostessing skills on a scale of 1 to 10 and why?
I'm going to say 10. I feel like Wendy did a good job. And I feel like the stuff that she's getting blamed for was actually production. Like we saw in this episode, and I believe either you or Kempire mentioned last episode that there was a primary bedroom connected to that kid's bedroom that Robin and Gizelle were in. And we saw this episode, you saw the lock on the door.
Mm-hmm.
And Gizelle was like, I wish we could go in that bathroom there. That room is the same as Candace, but it's locked. And so I felt like production set up Robin and Gizelle in that room, and they're the ones that wouldn't give them the code to that primary bedroom right there.
Yeah.
So I felt like it wasn't Wendy like keeping them from having a bathroom and things like that. I felt like it was production actually. So I'm gonna give Wendy a 10.
A 10. Well, what about
I'm
the
gonna
lack
give
of?
her a 10. Yes.
I think I would give her maybe like a 7.
So what could she have done better?
The breakfast situation. Like the breakfast was not set. And this is supposed to be Lux Housewives, And then on top of that, cleaning was not set either. And those are 2 very like time consuming, very important things. So I'm kind of like, I would have liked to have someone come in and clean on this luxury couple strip. I would have liked to have people come in to cook breakfast and like, as well.
Okay, I understand that, especially about the breakfast. I do understand that. Yeah. But I guess I just don't necessarily put it on Wendy. I feel like it's other issues, like the cleaning and the breakfast. I feel like, how do we know that Wendy had control over that? Because the way I look at these shows is like a production. Even though it's reality TV, I almost look at it like fiction. I almost look at it the same way that a show like Empire or whatever is produced. Like I look at it as a production. So I don't put that much weight on what the ladies themselves can control.
Okay. You're pretty generous, Lailah. You're so generous. Oh, by the way, you've got a fan here. Hi, Marsha. She says, hi, Lailah. Thank you so much for the super chat, Marsha. And I love your hair. It looks so good. So, okay. I think the kind of ratings on Wendy's hostessing skills. Okay. 10, 10, 6. Yeah. Shan had a 4. I'm seeing some 10s and some 9s and stuff like that. Okay. So people really liked her as a host.
Because she was fair to people. Like when Mia and Mia have not seen eye to eye for whatever reason, but when Mia was having her issues with Candace, like she was trying to talk to both people. She was trying to be fair and see both sides. It was just an issue with Gizelle and Robin. And it's like, what can you do with Gizelle and Robin? You know what I'm saying? You have them on your hands. What can you really do with them?
It's true. It is true. And again, they had no idea that, I think only Ashley knew that Gizelle and Robin were on their way there. So what they got is what they got based off of that. Right. Now, again, another fun scene. When it comes to fun and lightheartedness on the show, it really is Karen the Huger who brings it every time. Look at this wedding invitation of butterflies, half of which are dead, by the way. And did you notice? When she told the girls that they were coming, the invitations, what did she say? She goes, it's important to Ray that you open these outside. She doesn't care.
Karen is a mess. It's important to Ray.
She really is. And I love that. Like, where do you find butterflies? Like, did she go to the forest with a butterfly net?
I don't like that. I feel like it's a service that's offered by, these people that do invitations, like these invitation professionals. But honestly, something about that I didn't like because half of them were dead. And then Karen went and tried to say, oh, no, they were sleeping. But it's like, no, girl. Half of them were dead. You killed butterflies. You are a butterfly killer. Like,
vowel renewal. Oh.
They were sacrificed. Those butterflies were sacrificed for your vow renewal.
R.I.P. butterflies. I'm
Yeah.
with you on it. Like, it was funny for the TV show, but then when you realize, whoa, these things really died. Like, that's
Yeah.
sad. Like, it
Yeah.
reminds me of the dove thing. Like, isn't that kind of forbidden
Mhm.
in a couple of states or countries to like cage the doves and
Mm.
release them, throw them up in the air
Yeah.
and stuff?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think that's too much. Like, you don't have to do all that. Like, people are excited to see you. They don't need to see the doves and the
Mhm.
butterflies and stuff like that if it's going to harm them. You know what I mean? People are
Yeah.
excited to see you. Just leave it at that.
Okay. I completely agree with that. We got a super chat, by the way, but I can't find it. Do you see? Oh, here it is. It's from
Yeah.
Zoe. Thank you so much for the super chat, Zoe.
Oh,
She goes, outside of production, also COVID. On one day, maybe the cleaning people came after they
no.
left for the boat. Well,
That
that's
is
fair.
true. Because I've
Mhm.
traveled during COVID and it was like an issue. Like, they were like, we don't really want to send the people in your room. It's better just to wait until you leave, unless you really, really need it. Like, they made it like you had to request it. I
Ah.
happen to really, really need it. So I did request it, but
Yeah.
I get what she's saying.
God, I imagine it, right? When you're traveling with a full family, it's so many people. So, of course,
Yeah.
you're going to need that. Mo Taylor, hi, Mo. Thank you for being here every week. She says, just passing the collection plate. Y'all are beautiful queens. Thank you. That is so sweet. Thank you so, so much for the super chat and for being here as usual as well. Now, you guys, what happens next? Oh, Gordon and Mia. This scene really surprised me, okay? The Gordon and Mia scene surprised the heck out of me because it turns out that when they got back from the vacation, something went down with Mia's mom. They had like a romantic eighth year anniversary
Yeah.
dinner. And what was the deal there? What happened with her mom? Like,
No, I
what?
didn't like what I heard. I did not like that. When she was like, her mom kept calling her and saying basically she didn't know what to feed the kids.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just felt like, and I could see why Mia went home. Like, you know what? Because I would too. Like, if it's this much of an issue for you to watch my kids, I'll just come home. You can go.
Hmm.
And especially Mia, she sounded like she was triggered because she was like, her mom tends to run away. And it sounds like she was trying to low key say that she was scared that her mom would leave the kids alone. Did you get that?
A
Like, in
thousand
other words,
percent.
when she was
Mhm.
saying abandoned, like her mom abandoned her and she felt like maybe her mom might abandon her kids. It was kind of like, it almost sounded like a safety issue. Like, Mia came home because she was like, damn, is my mom about to leave?
Oh, I didn't understand it from the safety issue perspective. I understood it because here's a screenshot of G and Mia talking. She just said to them, "These are your kids. Click and hang up." So I get it now when you're saying that. Like, and that is terrifying. My question now is, how did she survive the whole weekend, but not like a 3-hour dinner?
I don't know, because if it was back to back, it's like, okay, is your mom burnt out now? That's what I was trying to understand. Was it back to back? And
Yeah.
was it like, okay, the her mom knows they're filming for the crab boil or whatever, the vacation, but this anniversary, they're not necessarily filming. So does her mom feel like, okay, I can be myself now? It sounds so bad. But is her mom, I don't want to say anything else about her mom.
I did not even think about that. That is a possibility. It always can be a possibility. And I'm with you. I agree with you in that, like, maybe she was burnt out after the initial thing. But, when it comes to Mia's fear of the mom abandoning the kids, is she kind of not setting that up herself by giving the mom all this responsibility, like so overwhelmingly, like that, so quickly and everything?
I think because her mom talks good. Like, she's sober. She's been sober for some years. And so if you think, okay, my mom is not a good mother because she was on drugs, but now she's sober. And when I talk to her, she's fine. I think Mia might be thinking, okay, everything might be fine now, so I can trust her. And she's starting to realize maybe her mother not having motherly instincts is not from the drugs. Maybe it's something else. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? It's
Yeah.
a lot. It's a lot. And I feel bad. Like, I don't want to say too much about her mother, but I just feel like that's an issue. Like, if I leave my kids with you, and I ask anybody, any mother, before you leave your kids with somebody, like, you're gonna ask them, "Are you okay?" Because it's like, girl, just tell me if you're not okay. If you feel like this is too much for you, just tell me. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
I know every mother does that, and so I feel like Mia trusted her, but with her mom calling her and about something simple like dinner when you can give kids, like, you can go to McDonald's, like, you can order McDonald's.
Well, that's what I wondered with like all those apps and stuff. Like, is it a
Yeah.
money issue? But I would imagine that Gordon and Mia would leave her with money, like emergency money or something.
Yes. And even Uber Eats, I can order Uber Eats from my phone and deliver it to you wherever
That's
you
true
are.
too.
You know what I mean? So it felt like something deeper than that. And I felt like her mom was just overwhelmed and she's just not into parenting children. Maybe she can parent adults, like adult kids, but not children.
Well, it's not for everybody. Like, it really is a lot of work. It really is difficult and it really is stressful. And, you know, it's kind of like you said, Lailah, people just need to acknowledge that when they can't handle it so that you can find somebody else to do it for you, you know? Now, next up, Gizelle and her daughters go out to get some items for her home. And these girls are lighting her up once again. Now, listen. At this point, are they going a little bit too far sometimes? Because I got the screenshot of them telling her that they don't want her to be alone and gross and by herself. Why do they associate singleness with being gross and stuff? Like, that's
bad. That's bad. Right. I got that in my notes too, because I was like, this is an issue. If these young ladies associate being single with being alone, gross, and dying by yourself, that means they're taking in, like, on social media and the media in general.
Yeah.
It will make women feel like that. It will make women feel like if you're unmarried, you're going to die alone. And even what's his name, Kevin Samuels, that's the thing. That's what he be telling these women on his show, like, you're going to die alone. And so when they said that, I was like, like, that's a problem. If you feel like you have to get married so you don't die alone. And men don't get that same type of programming. You know what I mean? Like, you don't hear men saying that, like, I want to get married so I don't die alone. It's programming for women. And when they said that, I was like, oh no.
Right.
No.
It really surprised me. I was like, you know what? I guess they're young. I'm going to leave it. But I do think that it might be something to kind of keep a little bit of an eye on, because like you said, it could be from like a source that is a little bit toxic, right? That they might be kind of getting this information from.
And I feel like if it was me in that situation, because my daughter is 7 now, she do be reading me. She read me this morning, like, and I was like, where's this coming from? But I feel like I would have checked them in that moment, camera there or not. Like, don't tell me being a single woman is gross. You know what I mean? Like, I would have checked them in that moment and I would have told them. And I try to tell my daughter this, because even my daughter as a baby, my daughter used to say she wants to be a boy, because she
wants to be a what? Sorry?
A boy.
A boy. Okay. Like tomboyish right now, I guess.
She was so young. It wasn't even tomboy. She was like 2. And she started to understand gender. And she felt like when she saw like the little food, like when you buy formula, the picture of the baby looked like a boy. Like, she was just seeing all these boy images on her, literally on her food. And she just felt like she wanted to be a boy. And so I had to, address it with her then. And it's like, it's something that you have to check in your kids, because if you allow your kids to be influenced by the media, they are going to be a mess. You know what I mean? You got to give them a chance to be themselves. Like, don't be influenced. Like, just be yourself. Be yourself. So I would have checked it then.
These conversations are so complicated, right? Like, that's why, although, like, that's what I really appreciate about Gizelle's presence on the show. I feel like she's probably the only one that really has these kinds of conversations with her kids on the show. And I think it really opens up the door for discussion about a lot of really important and interesting topics, especially when it comes to young girls. Like, they really told her that they didn't know, like, they're only 15, the twins, and the other one I think is like 17, 18 or 16, 17 or something like that. I don't know. But, they're talking about how, like, they worry about when it's time for them to date, because they don't know what to look for, because neither of their parents had successful relationships. They don't remember their parents being married. How would you handle that situation?
I would feel bad. I would feel so bad. Like, if I'm being honest, I would feel bad if I didn't give my children a positive influence of a marriage. I would feel bad. But also I feel hold on, I got an issue right now.
No problem. Let me just pull her out for a second. Lailah is always in mom mode, and that's what I love, like it is what it is, and I absolutely love it. So Shannon Van says their own parents are toxic. I think they're going to be so far above their parents, and I think I'm going to mention this when Lailah is able to hop back on again, but I think that that's one of the reasons why Gizelle's parents were so adamantly against her marrying Jamal. They knew because Jamal had already had these outside kids on her and sent her to Sing Sing, right? Allegedly. So they knew that this is what would happen to the kids. They knew the marriage wouldn't work out, and they knew that the kids would ultimately end up being traumatized by the situation. So, I wish that she had listened to them, but listen, everything in life happens for a reason. She had to have gone like based on her own instinct to get married to this man to even end up in this situation, on the Real Housewives of Potomac, able to make, a better life for her kids, I guess, than maybe she would have if she had just went down the regular road. I don't know, but I'm trying to keep it positive here on her front. Zoe sends another super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat, Zoe. She says, oh, and this is for Lailah. Okay, when she comes back, we're gonna read it again. Lailah, I also feel like Gizelle is only happy with a man, so we can't blame social media for it. Gizelle taught her children that. I noticed that Gizelle has it's true. Like the girls have talked about it before, how they notice that she is happier typically when she is in a relationship. I remember after she had broken up with Sherman in season 2, what did they tell her? They told her, you need to get with someone else, or you need to get back together with Sherman because you're a lot nicer when you are in a relationship. I would have to do a rewatch to really see all of that, how she treats her friends and other people when she's in a relationship, but there might be something to it because she truly does, to me, come off bitter, based on her singleness. I don't think that someone specifically goes after marriages and children's paternity if they're happy in their romantic life. It seems to be something that she targets for destruction based on the fact that she does not have that in her own life. Kim, thank you so much for the super chat. She says, they speak the same way Gizelle speaks, the girls. I'm sure social media adds to their perspective, but it starts and ends with Gizelle to a certain degree. And I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself here, but, I'm happy that Gizelle ultimately went to therapy in order to kind of address these sorts of issues as well. You know what I mean? She recognizes that this might be a problem stemming from her potentially. And she's trying to get help for it. And I think that that is what's most important. Lailah, I was just reading this one, but someone had, Zoe had addressed you in one of her super chats here. She says that she feels like Gizelle is only happy with a man. Do you remember when her kids said that to her? Get back into a relationship after Sherman because she's nicer?
Yeah, I feel like that's what they see. They see a change in her when she has a man. So, yeah, I'm also glad that she addressed it, in therapy. Why are you basically happier around your kids when you have a man? That's kind of deep.
Exactly. And they pick up on it. Kids truly are sponges. So now, and I was saying this while you were gone, Lailah, but do you think that that's why her parents were really practically begging her? They didn't go to the wedding, not to marry Jamal. They knew this would happen.
Yeah, because if we want to go back, yes, because he actually had I don't know if I want to say allegedly or not, but he had a child before he married Gizelle. So it was like he cheated on her before he married her. And I believe that's why her dad in particular was like, we're not going, this is not the one for you, because the issues had already started. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I do feel like he was not the one for her. And when you marry somebody that's not the one for you, and especially if you have kids with them, it becomes an ongoing issue in your life. 10 years, 20 years down the road, you're still having issues. So be careful, ladies. Yeah, be careful.
Yeah. Choose wisely, indeed, because it's painful, to watch your children go through that kind of pain and stuff. And you just don't want that.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of not the right one, Ashley goes to speak to her psychologist about her lack of intimacy with Michael. She's saying that she's typically offering Michael some sort of, and he's the one rejecting her. What do you think is going on? Why doesn't he want to?
I don't know. I think that is, I don't know. I feel like something is going on there because to me, he seems like a very sexual person. If he's the type of person, he's sleeping with her, they may or may not have an open relationship. We've seen him in this video with a a sex worker or whatever. And so it's like, he has sexual desires, but then for him to reject you as his wife, I do think it's a deeper issue there. I don't know if it's going to come out on camera. I don't know if he's cheating on her. I don't know if maybe he is, taking some time to himself, maybe to reflect on him being a sexual deviant. Like he's very deviant with his sexuality, as far as grabbing people without their permission. And I'm sure there are other things that the camera has not caught. So I don't know if he's really not interested in Ashley, or if by chance he's taking a moment to reflect on his actions. Like, I don't know what's going on there, but I don't think it's good.
Well, that's the thing, I don't see Michael as the kind of guy to reflect on his actions, because he has grabbed so many different people knowing that it's wrong, that I'm like, like at his age, he knows right from wrong. So I just don't see it. But I do, like, he might not be physically cheating on Ashley, but I believe that he might be at least I don't know, emotionally cheating on her. Shan says it might have to do with her actual physique right now or something like that, because she just got cleared. And even with the clearance 6 weeks out, it's not going to be comfortable because she's still, she's still going through the postpartum changes. Could that be it?
Okay. Her physique to me is fine. Like, I didn't like the dress she was wearing. I don't feel like it was flattering, but that's just a dress. You know what I mean? I feel like overall her physique is fine. I feel like she would turn any man on, or most men. You know what I mean? I feel like most men saw Ashley, they would be turned on. And if that's his wife and he's not turned on by his wife, I do feel like it's a deeper issue, and I don't think she is the issue. Even I know Shannon Van mentioned her leaking or whatever. I don't think, unless Michael has a problem with being attracted to mothers, like when you're postpartum and you are leaking milk and stuff like that. If that happens to turn him off,
yes,
then maybe yes, maybe yes.
Could it be the Madonna complex that people say that men go through? Now once you have their kid and stuff, they see you as like this holy, they can't picture, doing anything to you, with you, or whatever. Like, could that be it?
It could be. It could be. It could be. And that's something, hopefully he could address maybe in therapy or something, if that's what's going on with him.
Well, you know what? At this point, so far, we're seeing Ashley. Last season, we got to see Michael come into the therapy, but I think it was just because of the infidelity. So I don't know if you would be willing to go into it like outside of that. But I definitely think that he needs to join her in therapy. One thing that was kind of interesting was that the therapist was trying to like tell Ashley, like, everything doesn't have to be, sexual, in this relationship. You can be intimate without that, like in a loving, bonding way. Did that kind of stick out to you at all?
Yeah, and I don't think they have that relationship though. I feel like she's his trophy wife. I feel like prior to them having kids, they had a very sexual relationship. It was not necessarily intimate, like, sensual touch and things like that. I feel like it was very sexual, and I think Ashley's still looking for that. And maybe it's not there. I really don't know what's going on. I can only speculate, and I just think the worst. And I even think, because I believe Michael is bisexual, and I feel like some people, I feel like sexuality is a spectrum, and I feel like some people waver at different parts of their life. And I almost wonder if he's wavering to where he's not necessarily interested in Ashley or women right now. Like, he might be wavering more to that side.
But Ashley is on, very much like in a similar sort of fluid range.
Yeah,
so
fluid.
And I feel like that is why he married her, knowing that, like, if he did want to kind of explore that, she would be open to it.
Yeah, because they're both sexually fluid. Yeah,
exactly. So I would like to see him kind of discuss that with her, if that is what he's going through, because I do believe that she would be more than open to allowing him to explore it, or maybe even joining him or exploring herself.
I think she would. I think she would join in everything, girl. I think she would.
Yeah. One thing that, Ashley was being very vulnerable, which I appreciate. I always appreciate when people are real, because it is painful to talk about these things, like, rejection and stuff. And Ashley has been humiliated by this man for years on the show. Look, just like Shan said, Ashley is looking very fit in these confessionals, even more than before her kids. But, here she's talking about how, like, after Michael cheated on her, it's kind of like when you drop a vase and you put it back together, you glue it, you still see the cracks, and she still feels the effects of him cheating on her. Is that going to continue to eat away at her, do you think?
Oh, yes. If it was me, I feel like the rest of my marriage, it would be in the back of my mind. I would hope not, but I feel like in reality, it would always be in the back of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I couldn't accept it either. Nope.
Yeah, it's a deal breaker for me. Yeah.
You know, what's crazy about this is, just the other day, Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade had a soundbite that dropped about how, he had that baby on her when they were on break. And he talks about how she wouldn't speak to him for 9 days. And someone in the audience, he acted like it was the most profound thing. Someone in the audience was like, that's it.
Right. Just 9 days. A lot of women would never speak to you again, especially if you don't have the money you had. Maybe the money. I don't know. I don't know what Gabrielle Union, her finances, but I feel like a lot of women would never speak to you again. You had a baby on them, me included. Never. I could not. I'm done.
I don't know what it is about these Black women in Hollywood, but I'm telling you, the Gabrielles, the Anikos, the Eudoxies or whatever, like that just like put up with it. I don't know what it is.
I think they're no different from regular women with this programming telling us that we need to be partnered. That's what I really think it is. That it's the same thing regular women go through. They feel like they have to have a man and this is their best bet.
Mm-hmm.
I know he had a baby on me. And then it's also a class issue. Like I know he had a baby on me, but then she's also the woman he had a baby with is probably, she don't have as much money as me. She's in a different social class than me. So I can kind of look down on her. I can ignore her baby. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's a lot that goes on to it. I do.
God bless them. Good luck to them. Y'all be safe, but it could not be me. Hell no. I would set your house on fire.
Okay. You left that way.
I would cut those brakes. Everything.
Oh no. I used to be like that. I used to be really vengeful. And then my mom had to talk with me. But I used to be like, I'm so embarrassed. But I used to get really mad. Like I've had anger management issues to where I would, if someone upset me, like I do upset me, I would do stuff. It might be a little bit low key. Like I might do something to his food, like run over it and then try to feed it to him. My mom found out, and my mom was like, no. You cannot let these dudes get you this upset. Yeah. If they get you that upset, you need to let the relationship go. Don't try to seek vengeance. Don't do any of that. Just let it go. So now I'm a more, calm person. I don't try to seek revenge. But yeah.
But these men will try you. They will have you seeing red, acting out of character. Like they really will try you out here. Yeah. So I get it. No judgment here.
Okay.
Oh my God. It is, it is what it is because it's true. Look at the way, some of these men treat their women. Like sometimes you're like, you know what, if she snapped one day, I would totally get it, girl. I get it. Because, you can only be pushed so far. And of course you can leave the relationship and stuff like that. But who's to say you're not, snatching the tires after you leave, and leaving at the same time. I don't know.
No.
Don't try this at home, folks.
We can't keep cars. We can't do none of that. We just gotta move on.
Exactly. Now, you guys, Wendy and her mom and her daughter, they all do a photo shoot to promote her candles. So it's two of them are gonna be named after her mom and her daughter. By the way, did you notice her mom's bright blue colored contacts in this scene?
I couldn't tell.
Really? Like she had really.
That's deep. Oh my gosh, she had on bright blue contacts?
Yeah, they were like these like very like, I don't know, they're almost like this. This is green in real life, but it looks blue on camera. But yeah, I was looking at her like, okay.
That's not good. That reminds me of that book, The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison.
Oh, the classic, yeah, I guess.
Yeah, whenever I see Black people with blue eyes that are not natural, like contact lenses, I'd be like,
like, all right.
What's going on here?
Especially with the mom. I think she was being accused of bleaching her skin when she first appeared on the show. So that's what I kind of cut back to. Like, are you all right, sis?
Yeah. I didn't notice that, but because I did see a lot of comments. People were saying, her mom bleaches her skin and it's part of their culture and da-da-da-da-da. And now seeing and I didn't believe she bleached her skin. I felt like she just had the wrong foundation. But now seeing her, if she has blue contacts and then also lightening her skin, it's like my mom has fell for it.
Yeah.
Just fell for it.
It's sad, but that just jumped out to me. But they do the photo shoot and they kind of just talk about, the typical thing where, the parents kind of push you towards studying something. It kind of starts off when they're asking the photographer what he studied and it was engineering.
Yeah.
And then,
He's a
they
whole
kind of go.
engineer.
Of course. So what did you think about that conversation?
You know what? First of all, I thought it was so cute with the three generations, her mom, her daughter. Her daughter was looking so cute with her little ponytails, her little curls. Like that's what stood out for me for that conversation. Her daughter looking so cute. But that conversation, I'm gonna say this, like in that conversation, Wendy was like, I've learned to apologize to my kids when I'm wrong. Like sometimes I might accuse, and this happens as a parent, like you accuse the wrong kid, like you think they did something, turn out they didn't do it. It was their brother or their cousin or something. You apologize. And she was like, and then I realized you've never apologized to me as a child. And her mom was saying, yes, I did, because you guys were latchkey kids. And I apologize to you for not being home. I apologize for being latchkey kids. Yeah. And part of me believed her. Wendy kept saying, no, you never apologized to me. But part of me believed if she's saying when she came home, she said, I'm sorry for leaving you home alone. Part of me believed her mom that she probably did say that. And Wendy as a child probably doesn't remember because it wasn't a big issue to her.
But that's what I felt as well. I feel like even like the parents who will not, who avoid apologizing at all costs would apologize to their kid at least once in their life, or at least a couple of times, I believe, and like Shireen said, I find like the placement and the timing of this was very awkward. It's very public setting and stuff. I was like, were you really expecting a productive conversation with your mom at this time and place? Like what was going on there?
Maybe not productive or entertaining because we know we're doing reality TV. So maybe she has a little bit of Gizelle in her where she's trying to get the soundbite,
Trying to produce the scene.
A little bit. But then she done messed around, got her mother mad. Her mother put on her glasses and was like, I'm out. Yes.
Calling my Uber. Peace out.
Okay.
I have a question for you. Like, are these things that you kind of considered before having kids or as you're raising kids about like, what they want to do versus what you aspire for them to do, knowing like how much certain professions pay over others, how hard it is to get a job here versus there? Are these things that you think about and how you're going to manage those things?
I feel like I'm more like in Wendy's position in her generation because I feel like my mom did that to me. Like my mom specifically told me don't major in this, and that. And so it caused an issue for me in college when I wanted to major in that. And even in my family, I've seen other mothers in my family tell their daughters don't major in this, and that. Normally it's their career. Like they'll be like a nurse and be like, don't major in nursing. And then the daughter be like, oh, I really want to be a nurse. And it causes an issue. So I feel like I'm more kind of like liberal. Like I want my daughter to major in what she likes.
Yeah.
And so I do guide her to that. Like my daughter, she's only 7, but she really likes recycling. So I kind of guide her towards like environmental science because I can see that she likes nature and she likes that type of thing. So I guide her, but I would never tell her don't major in this because that was told to me and it caused an issue for me.
It's true. I noticed that with a lot of people too. Like, your parents will push you, like, my parents and then like my friends' parents as well, to study something. And maybe it is your passion, but it's refined. So for me, I really like journalism and reporting and stuff. But they said, don't do journalism, but do communication instead because journalism is too fixed. So I'm still in the same kind of field, communications and journalism, my degree, but it's not quote unquote pigeonholed to one thing specifically, you know what I mean? So like that worked for me. But like for other people, like I've had friends who took forever to graduate because they kept failing classes because they're studying something that they don't have the passion for. They don't have like, the instinct for, like, so they're really struggling just to get this degree that they don't even want.
Yeah. I told you guys, I used to, I was married to someone who was from Tanzania, actually, and he was pushed into majoring in travel and tourism, even though like that wasn't his passion. It was just like, if you're an immigrant in this country, like you only have a certain amount of options, even though technically all of these majors are open to you. Like from your family's perspective, it's either this, or this. You know what I mean? He was pushed into it and it wasn't his passion.
Exactly. And like people will always at the end of the day U-turn at some point and go for what they're passionate about when they find the opportunity to, because life is short. You have to be happy in what it is that you're doing.
Yes, Zoe. Where are you from, Zoe? Tell us, where are you from?
She's from South Africa. Yeah.
Okay.
She
Yes.
says another super chat. Thank you so much, Zoe. You are so generous. She says, that combo was lit. As an African, I felt. We are on the same boat. You do a career that is stable and will end poverty. You don't follow your dream. You know,
Yeah.
it really kind of comes down to that. I don't think that your parents or like, you know, people's parents are doing it to be bad, to be controlling. Like they're just scared of you.
Yeah, they're trying to help. They think they're
Yeah.
trying to help you.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, you guys, what happened after this scene? Oh, the product placement for Le Dame, the 3-wig. How did you think about that? Let me show it again. Oh my God. This is the best product placement that Karen has got this entire season. Sandalwood is an aphrodisiac. Light this as you try to get your man to bone you again.
I was looking at, I actually tried to buy it. Like I was looking at her website. It must have been like a week or two ago. I was trying to buy me some Bohemian Fire. Like I like the name. That sounds good. But it wasn't for sale. So I was like excited when I saw her, you know, like lighting the candles and stuff. I was like, yes, Bohemian Fire. Like it feels like, okay, romance. You know what I mean? We got that fire. You know what I mean?
But you know, it had like a weird effect on her. Instead of like the romance towards her, it kind of got Michael romancing towards Juan instead.
Is this not what I said about sexuality and that spectrum swinging? And sometimes it's to the left. But yeah, he was reminiscent about Juan, wasn't he? He was like, why do I need to be friends with, I think, Chris? He was saying, why do I need to be friends with Chris when I'm friends with Juan? You know what I'm saying? And Juan is so much better.
Juan's got it going on. He's like, Chris's wife pulls a knife on you. Juan is interesting. We get along. He's not playing games. And then we get that montage of, you know what was something that was funny, Lailah? In this moment, the whole you and I, the secret bachelor party, it wasn't Michael who first said that the bachelor party would be just them together.
It was Juan. And I noticed that because when that issue came out about Mike possibly having a crush on Juan, I thought Juan might be one of those type of guys that's offended. But now watching it, I feel like, oh, Juan is flattered. And some guys will be flattered when another guy has a crush on them. Some guys are offended, but some guys be flattered. And so when Juan was the one saying, we're going to go to Vegas, just me and you, I feel like Juan is flattered that Mike has a crush on him. I do.
But does that surprise you that he's not a little bit scared of Mike in particular? You know, because listen,
but really, what's to be scared of?
Mike will grab you without your permission at any given moment. He's done it to so many
players. Do they not hit each other on the butt all the time? These basketball players, these football players, it's not unusual. They do it kind of like in jest or whatever when they score, but it's still the same. It's still a slap on the butt. And not, I don't think Juan is I don't think he's homophobic. You know what I'm saying? I don't think Juan is homophobic.
Definitely not. But I do think, because I'm thinking about the lawsuit that the Bravo employee filed, he talked about how, I think he said that Michael even grabbed him on the junk or something like that. Like that's what's kind of making me kind of nervous. If I'm remembering correctly, you guys let me know in the chat. But this is why I'm kind of like, well, I'm surprised that he does, like he would be open to going to Vegas alone with Michael in particular. Like if it was anyone else, another gay guy who was into him, whatever. But this man in particular, who grabs people without their permission, possibly even on the junk.
But I don't feel like between Michael and Juan, I don't feel like Juan is scared of Michael. I don't think Juan is like, oh, he's going to be so aggressive towards me and I don't know what to do. I don't feel like he feels that type of energy. I think Juan feels like he's in control if it was between him and Michael.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Okay.
You know, that montage, the fact that they even slipped this into the montage was crazy. These producers have been wilding this season. They really have.
They are hard at work. And I think they got some new producers or some new editors at least this season, because they are hard at work. They are rolling it back for you. Okay, they are rolling that beam footage, that beautiful beam footage. They got it, and they are rolling it.
I love it. It's what we deserve in Potomac, because these girls bring it. So like the production needs to bring it too, you know, don't waste it on these other girls.
Yes.
So now I have a question for you, Lailah, and everyone in the chat as well. This thing that Ashley and Michael were doing together, was it fair to subject cameraman and production to this scene. Like, I'm not even going to show the other screenshot, but she kind of gets on top of him and straddles him or something like that almost.
Yeah. Thank you for not showing that, because I didn't like that scene.
Right.
I didn't like that scene. Part of me, and I guess part of me from a fashion standpoint, I didn't like Ashley's dress, so that might have been part of it. But it just felt like she was doing the most for a man who was not interested. Like, he just wasn't interested. So I didn't love that scene. And not only because obviously, first of all, it's awkward when they do these romantic scenes on any show between the couples. It's kind of awkward as a viewer watching them. You're like, I don't really want to see this. You know what I'm saying? This is not what I clicked on for. So it's already that. And then especially Michael is not, whatever. It's not attractive to a lot of people, just to be honest. And then seeing Ashley, straddle him, it just wasn't my cup of tea.
Well, mine either. Like, especially because I'm thinking, like, did they preview these producers? Did these producers know going into this apartment that you were going to kind of like get some softcore, like whatever going on? Like, this is what you're going to be witnessing? Because if not,
I hope so.
Right?
I feel like after all these producers have been through on the Real Housewives of Potomac, I would hope they would talk to them and be like, this is the scene. This is what's about to happen. Do you agree? Like, get consent. Do you consent to being present during this moment? I would hope so. I would hope so.
Right. That's
they're bringing up Karen in the bathtub. Yeah, they got to talk to these producers. Somebody got to talk to these producers and kind of like talk them through it and say, are you really here for this?
Exactly. Someone even mentioned too that Ashley's underwear, like they saw it when, she was climbing or something. It was
because I don't want to feel like I'm shaming anybody.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, something about it. I just didn't like seeing that.
Well, how about this? Was it potentially because this man, he doesn't even get excited after all these months of not getting any? He goes, I'm feeling very uncomfortable right now. This is mortifying.
Yeah, it's mortifying, but at the same time, I felt uncomfortable too. So I don't know if it was maybe the camera. Like, he's not, and I feel like purposely he tries not to interact. He tries not to be on the show too much this season, in my opinion. And some people have said, they've asked, is he being restricted? But I just feel like it's him, like he's kind of like over it. So I felt him when he said he was uncomfortable. And I think a lot had to do with the cameras in addition to the scene.
Well, Shanika's saying that he wants to get into film, but his other businesses as well. He's got like this big real estate empire. In fact, he used to own this gorgeous hotel that they were staying in the penthouse in. So like, does this kind of like not interfere with all of that? Like the way he's portrayed here? Like maybe that's why he doesn't want it.
It does. Yeah, I think it does. I've always felt that, even because I feel like I said, I feel like obviously Michael's bisexual, but I feel like it's something about his business contacts where he doesn't feel comfortable coming out on national TV and saying that. It's something to do with his business. So I do feel like he is trying to walk a certain path because of his business. Yeah, I do.
And so it's a little surprising to me that Ashley would not really kind of account for that, but I digress. Now, something else that I noticed after he goes, I'm uncomfortable, as she's about to straddle him after blindfolding. They get into the bedroom and she's expecting for them to actually like do it. And he's just focused on the buttons on the toilet. He's like, did you notice all those buttons on that toilet? Like, oh.
I actually Googled that. I was like, what does that mean? The buttons on the toilet. And I was like, is it the bidet? Like, what did you take? What did he mean by that?
Well, that's what I took it as. I was like, is it bidet? Is it a heated seat? Like all these kinds of things. That's what I saw. What'd you find?
So it was a really fancy toilet. And he was, I guess, impressed. I don't know, girl. But I was like, what is going on here? And I was confused enough to Google it. I literally Googled buttons on the toilet. And it was saying something about a bidet, like it's the buttons to the bidet.
That's what I think it was too. And I feel like he actually walked away to go to the toilet to look at it again or to get away from the situation, because Ashley goes, I'll be here when you come back or when you're ready. I was like, this is so sad.
It is, but I don't know, just in my personal experience, I just feel like sometimes like all that contrived stuff is for the movies, like putting on, I don't know how to say this, but putting on the outfit and doing all of this, it's almost like it's for the movies. Like in reality, I just feel like you let nature take its course is the best way to say it. Like you don't have to do all that. And sometimes doing all that, sometimes putting on a scene can make someone uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm
I
just
really
kidding.
hope it works out for her because remember, she did go through a lot of postpartum depression the first time around with all of this.
Yeah.
So I would hate, for this, to kind of send her into another tailspin at the end of the day.
Yeah. And I think that's important to talk about because she was like, it was at this point, like she was like 2 to 3 months postpartum with Dean when he cheated on her. So now she's 2 to 3 months postpartum with her second child. And
Yeah.
she's kind of like on edge, like, is he going to cheat on me again? So I can understand, like, oh my God, like I can feel her kind of like pain, like, and her paranoia from that. And I don't know if he's overcompensating and kind of like not being sexual at all. Like, I'm not going to cheat, but I'm just not going to be sexual at all. I don't know. I just feel like it's something deep going on there, and I hope they're okay.
People are saying he might have been using that like sexually, the bidet. That's what I was getting from a couple of these comments here. I don't know nothing about that.
Yeah, like crazy.
Brenda says
I don't
that
think
Ashley,
do all that.
I know. Brenda says that Ashley plays chess, not checkers. Do you think that she's kind of got herself in like, everything, all her ducks in a row in case this hits the fan? I think those 5 years that she extended are about up now. So I think
that's interesting. I don't know. I feel like Ashley is not done with him. Like, I feel like, especially now that they've had children and they have multiple children, I feel like she wants more from him. Like, even if people were to say she was a gold digger in the past, I feel like at this point she got 2 kids from him. Oh, it's more than just, getting whatever you get from a divorce, like alimony or whatever. It's more than that. It's deeper now. You owe me much more. So I don't know.
Could she be like an Erica Jane, like stick it out for 20 years until like all the money's gone, kind of a thing? I can see it.
I can see, yeah, because the pain she's experienced with her own father is really deep. So I can see her spending a lifetime trying to, recoup. Trying to recoup. I could see that. But one thing Michael brought up, and I wanted to ask you about this because I feel like it doesn't get mentioned often. But Ashley said that Chris was basically trying to make amends with her, and he said he acknowledged her motherhood and she was doing a good job as a mother. And then Michael was like, he doesn't want to be friends with anybody whose wife could pull a knife on his wife.
Yeah.
Which I understand. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say I'm hating on that. I understand that. But what did you think about him bringing up that point in time where Candace tossed the knife on the floor in front of Ashley? What did you think about him bringing that up?
I don't know. I felt like, okay, like he's still hanging on to it as a defensive husband. What? Why? Did you think it was weird?
No, I didn't think it was weird. I thought it was natural, but I feel like other people think it's weird. Like, I feel like people think you should let it go, but in reality, if you pull a knife on someone, people don't let it go.
No, not in the real world, not in the normal world, I guess, the fact that this is TV kind of warps people's opinions on things. They go, this is a show, you sign up for these sorts of things. But, these are real people at the end of the day who have real feelings about weapons being thrown at them.
Right.
Yeah.
So don't forget that. Yeah.
And like, he did talk about how mean, like how vicious Candace's mouth was as well. So I believe that like, maybe if Candace was a nicer person to Ashley down the line, then like maybe he would have softened up. But like she only kind of got worse towards Ashley. So I could totally see him just not being here for it at all.
I don't know if he would have softened up because I feel like some people are like, once you pull a knife on them,
it's over.
It's a wrap. But
I wouldn't blame them.
Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't blame them either because they're real people, even though it comes off a little bit, fictionalized, they are real people. So I don't blame them for that either. But I want to ask you this, and I don't know if people notice this. Okay, this has to do with Gizelle.
Okay, let me turn up my volume here.
Okay. So Gizelle went to therapy with the guy that counsels all of them. And so she was like, he asked her basically, why did you get back with Jamal? Which was a good question.
Yes.
Yeah, he asked her, why did you get back with Jamal? And she was like, I felt like he respected me more now. Girl, why did my heart break when she said that? Because I was like, okay, you felt like he didn't respect you. Like when he dated you, when he married you the first time, he didn't respect you. And now that you're making money, he respects you more. And my little heart broke. I was like, damn.
I had the opposite reaction because I actually took that down too. I was like, he asked her, was there like a love force that pulled you back to Jamal?
Was it love? Yeah.
And she goes, I felt like the way he was looking at me changed, which is what you're saying about the respect and stuff. But
Yeah.
like, it was nothing from her side. She just was like, I thought I would receive this from him. It was nothing about how she felt about him. So I'm like, this is an interesting way to approach relationships, you know? Like, she wasn't going based on her own love towards him. It was what she thought she would get.
It was no love at all, apparently. And that's what the
Yeah.
counselor was looking for. He said a love force. Like, you feel like you're still in love with him. You feel like he's still in love with you. And she
Yeah.
was just like, she felt like he respected her more. So let's try again.
Yeah. So do you think it makes it like all the worse, like all the more sad, like what she went through for this man?
It does to me. It made me sad to hear that, for her to say, I feel like he respects me more. It just made me feel like all the women who feel like they're in relationship with partners who don't respect them. And we've even talked about this on the show about, is marriage, you know, like kind of like an equilibrium, because it would seem like it would be if you're marrying somebody, you're saying we're equal, we're partners, but it's not in reality. It's not. A lot of marriages are one person is the superior and one person is not. And since you said that, it just reminded me of that. And I was just like, dang, like I felt bad for her. This was a rare instance. I felt bad for her, thinking that she could have a chance with this man now that he respects her. Because obviously he didn't respect her before.
And do you think that kind of explains where her daughters got their whole, if you're single, you're kind of gross and alone and miserable kind of a thing from? Like,
Yeah,
did that kind of like link it for
yeah,
you?
you're not respectable if you're single. Oh my God. Oh, that's so sad. That's so sad.
You know, I have to say, when it comes to Gizelle and relationships, I know her relationships suck and are miserable, but just the way she treats other people's marriages and like the questioning paternity of children, you know, I'm like, this, you're reaping what you sow. When you do stuff like this, I can't feel bad for her.
Yeah, it's never okay. It's never okay for her to question. Yeah, that was never okay. I hate even repeating what she did, but she questioned the paternity of Monique's son, and that was not okay.
Nope. No. But you're right. Like, we did get a lot of vulnerability. Well, by Gizelle standards, right? This episode from her.
Because she thinks she's been vulnerable.
Exactly. You know what? As we close out, I want to bring up this outfit because I had to take a picture of this. Jean peplum, shoulder scrunched up.
Come on, Gizelle. Come through, Gizelle. DMV at its finest, okay?
Oh my God. Giselle can't help but look cheap everywhere she goes. I swear to God. You know, a lot of people are asking in the chat, by the way, Lailah, if she's dating this man. There's a theory going around that she is dating this man. I'm trying to bring up.
The counselor?
Yeah.
Is he single? Wait.
I have no idea.
I didn't hear that. They said circa 1980. Oh my God. Her top was circa 1980. That was her peak. She peaked in the 80s.
She really did.
I didn't hear that. I don't know why I assumed he was married, but he did say she was one of his favorite people. And when he said that, I was like, oh, wait a minute.
Is that appropriate? I've never been to therapy. I would love to, but I've never been. So I don't know if it's appropriate. Do people say that?
Well, I've been in therapy a couple times.
Yeah.
For myself, for my marriage. Like, I be trying.
You should. Good for you.
But I never heard them, like, they've never flirted with me. They laughed at me.
They laugh at you?
Oh my God. Yes, I felt bad. But they've never flirted with me. But yeah.
And you know, at first when she walks in, he goes, look at you, or like something like that. I thought he was talking about like the way she looked, but it was the foot thing. But I'm like, was it only the foot thing, or was there something behind that?
Yeah, he might have a little crush on Gizelle.
Oh Lord.
It sounds like he might.
Not very ethical, sir. Not very ethical, but
I need to see if he got a ring on his finger. Is he married?
He had like a class ring like on his middle finger.
A class ring. Okay, and that's it?
Yeah, that was it. So there might be something there. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. But you guys, if you've enjoyed this chat, please make sure to give it a thumbs up. Thank you so much to all of you guys for being here with us. Kempire, we will be with him again next week once he's settled back in to the US. And then next week we'll be on his channel, your channel, Lailah, right?
My channel, yeah.
Next week we're on Lailah's channel for
with a surprise guest. With a surprise guest, you guys.
Yes.
It'll be November 1st, right? So it'll be a surprise guest on my channel.
Yeah, get into it. I've got a link in the description box down below to subscribe to Lailah's channel. So please make sure you do that, okay? Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you so much to Shan for being a wonderful moderator. And we'll see you again next week on Lailah's channel with Kempire and a surprise guest.
Yes, get into it.
Perfect. Take care, everybody. Bye.
Bye.